everybody, and welcome once again to the warehouse in beautiful Jersey City, New Jersey. We just watched Hook, Line, Sinkers eliminate Lovias here in Blitzball Battle 3, presented to you by Shady Rays. Head on over to shadyrays.com. Use the code word warehouse. You'll get 40% off your next pair of shades.
Yeah, you will.
That is Peter Moylan. I am Chris Rose. Kelsey Wingert will be joined by the winners momentarily, but first, a lot of drama in this one.
Oh, man, I learned a lot. Canobbio was a little off in the first inning, allowed Nicky to get a couple of base knocks, but huge comeback by him in the second inning to register those 2 outs. I'll tell you what a feeling for the dark horses.
Well, we knew that this team, even though they were the 5 seed after regular season play, that they were going to be a challenge because they've got 2 guys that can really throw it.
Exactly right. We found out 2 guys that can swing it today as well. Canobbio certainly learned to go the other way, stay back, drive that ball the other way, and Drew Davis picked it up too.
Not a clear-cut Shady Rays player of the game. That's why we're going to have to find out which one of those 2 guys wants to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm the Shady Rays player of the game. Don't forget to use the code word warehouse. You'll get 40% off your next pair of shades. You also get early access to the John Boy Media and Shady Rays collab pairs dropping later this year. Jimmy's going to have a pair.
Yep.
Jake is going to have a pair.
Man,
That's going to be – nope.
No.
Not yet.
Fair enough.
Not yet. We still have a
Next
few
year.
games left in the tournament
4.
until we perhaps unveil a Moylan pair as well. Kelsey Wingert,
like?
You're down there with the winners.
Yes, and we did decide the player of the game was Drew, although it was a very, very well-fought team effort from both of you guys. And coming into this game, a lot of the talk had been that you guys are the dark horses of this tournament. We know the path ahead is really difficult for you guys, but how confident are you feeling after such a big comeback win like that?
Confidence is sky high right now. Listen, we didn't get off to a good start. It's like when you're out on a boat, you put the bait on the line, you're sitting out there, we didn't catch anything. We're sitting there just chatting, pick up nibbles, and then we woke up, and then we just kept moving it.
Catching little fish, using that little fish to catch bigger
One
fish.
base at a time, like that. One base at a time, and then shut the door with our pitching, which is what we are,
Yeah, well, you talk about pitching, and Drew, your sinker really seemed to be working for you today. You came in some big spots, got some big outs. How were you feeling on the mound today?
I was feeling good. Definitely, I don't know why I keep going back to it. I'll come over the top and it gets smashed. It's usually just my pitch that I'm not feeling confident throwing strikes, but I just had to try and settle myself down and just throw it at the strike zone and hope that they didn't hit it.
How difficult is it for you guys whenever you get down 2-0? Nicky Cass, the talk coming into this game had been your success versus Nicky at the plate, and he starts off really hot against y'all.
He was bound to get me, and he did. And they couldn't go off to a better start. He has his entire family here. I think there's 35 Casanos here. He's got his mailman here. But listen, it's a long game. That's what I was telling Drew. And I was proud of him this game because he just kept the same intensity all the way through. We know we have a lot of outs to get and a lot of outs to hit, and we did that. But yeah, I knew they were going to come out to a hot start. Couldn't, in my world, the boxing world, we were getting just taking punches early. I was up against the ropes, and I just fought back, and I was like, tss, and then we went. It was like Rocky 4.
It was like Rocky 4. Just tire him out.
That's my favorite Rocky, by the way. See? Look at that.
This is wonderful. Hey, a difficult day ahead for you guys tomorrow. You're going to have to play in 3 consecutive games if you continue to win. We spoke.
Easy with that language,
I know.
Kelsey.
What they call me, right?
What?
Old man Dan.
Old man Dan. But you had the off day, the only team to have an off day. We talked about how big of an advantage that would be for you guys, but how much can that help you tomorrow going into that schedule?
I mean, it helps. We're the only ones that had a day off. I certainly needed it. And Drew, this guy's 12, 15 years old. We're gonna go with him.
Are you 12 or 15?
13. I just turned 13.
Alrighty, guys. What a win in Game 12 here in Blitzball Battle 3. Congratulations, Hook, Line, Sinkers. We'll see you guys all day tomorrow.
All right, time right now to check out the Shady Rays playoff bracket. You can see the 5 seed Hook, Line, Sinkers. They are moving on. Up next for them, the winner of Forgotten Rotten and Pinstripe Strong. But time right now to take you down to the media room. Let's listen in.
Hey, round of applause. Love yous, team that made the final in Blitzball Battle 2. You're coming in here as one of the favorites. You get into a 2-0 lead, and then the top of the second rolls around, and you give up some runs. Dalton, you on the mound there. What was it like? What were you feeling, the pressure and all of that?
sometimes you got it and sometimes you don't. And I didn't fucking have it at all, Made some competitive pitches. They saw them low, saw them away, saw them in, didn't chase. When I threw it over the plate, they mashed. And that's on me. Gotta be more competitive in that situation, get better outs next time.
Yeah, the booth said it during. They said, Dalton's not really pitching that bad. They're just not swinging.
Yeah, I thought he looked great, to be honest with you. I really did. I thought he looked fantastic out there. They were just making good approaches at the plate. They were putting good swings on balls, and
I think you got to throw strikes first to get those chases. I think that was a big issue. If you're throwing 0-0 and you're just missing, they might not chase at it. But 0-2, it's a different story.
Gotcha. You guys had a lot of people in the stands today. Did you feel extra pressure having everybody all eyes on you?
No, I felt happy.
More excitement, I think. I really think that's what it is.
I felt awesome.
We have
if
some of our
anything, it
loved
helped.
ones. Yeah.
Just kind of felt like we were back in high school.
Uh-huh.
I heard my mom go, "Let's go, Nick," and I turned around and I was like, "Oh my god, I feel like I'm in travel ball." But no, man, it was awesome, and like I say it every event we do. You guys, John Boy Media, the crew, the producers, everybody just puts on a phenomenal show from top to bottom. We're out here working all day long. We do the fun things, and the crew back there just make sure that it really is the whole orchestra of the entire song. Wow, big analogy there.
Yeah, great analogy.
Thanks.
And it just keeps getting better and better.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so much more. The crew does fantastic jobs, and everyone just keeps getting more improvement.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
And Nick, you were talking to your family after the game. What were they saying to you?
My dad said, he didn't really say much. He looked at me, did one of those, and I knew exactly what that meant, and I went in his arms and I cried a little bit, and it was good. But no, shout out to Hook Line Sinkers. They played
played a
an
great
unbelievable game.
They might keep an unbelievable tournament.
Yeah, I want them to win the
Tough
whole fucking
run.
thing, to be honest with you.
Then we got ice. I mean, lots of good teams left.
And Dan Canobbio lets up 2 runs in the next inning, comes out like it never happened.
Yeah.
So,
Shakes it off.
great stuff. Thank you, everybody, tuning in. Thank you to everybody who's supporting Team Love Yous.
Appreciate
We're
it.
coming back. We're going to be better. Thanks for watching.
Ready to roll. All right. You guys went down 2-0 in this game. Top of the second, you came out, you faced Dalton, and the bats were working, the walks were working, eyes were going. Mm-hmm. What was your mentality going from 2-0 down to we got to produce in the second inning?
I mean, couldn't have been any worse of a start. I know they only got 2 runs, and you limiting just to 2 runs was huge because 2 runs in Blitzball is not really that big of a lead. But we just had a dink and dodge. I told him, let's get 5. Let's get 5. We knew Dalton had to come in. Nicky was on. He was lights out. He got me, I think twice or 3 times. But we just had to keep, passing the baton. That's all we did. No extra base hits. I think all singles, walks. I mean, it wasn't a glorious win. It wasn't a sexy win. But you know what? A win is a win when you got your back up against the wall. So shout out to Love Yous. They pushed us to the brink, but we just came out on top.
And shout out to Love Yous. They hit 3 doubles to start their first inning at bats. And Canobbio, that's somebody in Nicky that you were 0 for 6 and
Watching
6
him grow
Ks.
up.
He was against you.
Yep.
Comes out, smacks a double. And then it seemed like your pitching strategy was you pitched to Nicky, Drew pitches to Dalton.
Yeah.
That changed once Drew got Dalton out and Drew kept going. Walk me through that pitching strategy.
Basically, what we believe in is let's alternate first inning for the matchup that we like, and then let's see who's hot, and let's ride that hot hand. That's the beauty of having 2 pitchers. So when I didn't have it early, I knew that I can count on Drew, and he locked in, and then I got hot, and then Drew got hot and finished the game. I mean, that's beautiful. That's how you win in this game. You need 2 pitchers, and that's like the beauty of it. Like I didn't get too down, and I wasn't like, oh man, I got to really like lock in, because I knew Drew would pick me up, and we did that.
And originally we were going to switch back like in that last inning to go me versus Dalton and then have you finish it out. But I told Dan, for some reason I was just feeling more comfortable against Nicky, more just like throwing strikes. I don't know, for some reason like some hitters just come up and I feel like with Trevor and Dan, it was like I had the same feeling. I thought I would regret if I didn't say it because I didn't say it against Forgotten Rotten. So I was just like, I'm feeling more comfortable against Nicky. And then it ended up he got double, but it didn't matter. I knew you could. I knew we were still fine at that moment.
And last one for you, looking forward to tomorrow. Kelsey mentioned it briefly, but in your current bracket position, you would have to play all 3 games and win all 3 games tomorrow in order to take home the championship. How nervous are you in terms of fatigue about tomorrow's
I think for me, like the only reason I'm nervous is because I know that the first game would be before lunch, and then we'd take 3 hours off. And like if it was all three straight, I know I could probably like stay warm and stuff like that. The only thing I'm afraid of is we win game 1, go eat lunch, 3 hours later, I'm stiff, I'm cold, and then my arm is hurting.
Well, last time we called Jerry Blevins, and he gave me a whole regimen, so I still have that. Like, we win the first game. Just got to win. If you don't win, we're not in. So just one game at a time, literally a marathon of a day. If we hoist that trophy, I mean, we might not have limbs, but we'll lift it up with our feet.
At the end of the day, the other teams are going through it too. Obviously, Como, we got ice. They're in a position where their arms are probably a little bit fresher, especially Jack, because he does this every day.
Yep.
But we gotta do what we did today. Grind out wins. May not be sexy, but hey,
Win is a win.
That's the life story, isn't it?
I'm sexy.
Yeah.
Great. That's all I got.
Thanks, guys.
Kelsey, I got to tell you, this is why Hook, Line, Sinkers was a dark horse coming into the postseason tournament, even though they were the 5 seed. They have 2 guys that can get hot on the mound, and that's what they talked about.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw today. And even when Dan didn't have it in the first inning, Drew was able to come in and pick him up. But I really liked how they broke down their pitching strategy there. They were going to alternate and then ride who was hot. But at that point, they were both able to eventually settle in.
You know, the thing is, that first inning is so critical.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't score enough runs, like Hook, Line, Sinkers, they got held to nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lovia's had a chance in the bottom of that frame to really put their foot on the throat of the Hook, Line, Sinkers dudes.
Yeah.
They scored 2 runs.
Yeah.
You know, you put on 4 or 5, and then all of a sudden it changes everything, and it lets Dalton Feely breathe a little bit easier, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, we saw a 2-0 lead. Dalton's got to get 2 outs in the second, and he's panicking.
Yeah. It was so good to see Dalton. I know they ended up losing, but to come through with that home run was a really good moment for him. But everybody was very kind post-game, but, man, it was such a fight, and you thought at the end that with Nicky up that you were going to be able to see something crazy there. But all the teammates picked up their own teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like a very friendly game, but a very good game. And Hook, Line, Sinker, like we've been saying, man, don't sleep on them because they're in it.
So we have to say goodbye to Lovia's, last season's runner-up. They're going to be disappointed. Dalton and Nicky Cass, class personified. You know, they were talking about the production crew and how much fun they're having. No question, but this one smarts just a little bit. Yeah. Meantime, Hook, Line, Sinkers, they move on. They will face the winner of our next game between Forgotten Rotten and Pinstripe Strong. For Kelsey Wingert, for Peter Moylan, and our amazing John Boy Media broadcast crew, with most of which is eating lunch at this point. Good job, Jack. By the way, brother, I am Chris Rose. Thanks for tuning in to the Shady Rays postgame show. Where's the food? I'm starving.